in and out of Parliament. Securities and Exchange Commission files lawsuit against Laughs Gas PLC. Presidential candidate Sajith Premadasa promises to provide free preschool education. Gotabaya Rajapaksa says steps will be taken to uplift the standards of those in the tea industry. Remains of a man found in a house down Dharmapala Mawatha in Colombo. Now in your news in details, first let's take a look at some political news. NDF presidential candidate Sajith Premadasa says the government will not sign the Millennium Challenge Corporation Agreement or MCC with the United States before the 16th of this month. He made this statement in a letter addressed to Venerable Ududumbara Kashyapatera, who launched a protest fast against the signing of the agreement at the Independence Square yesterday. The letter further stated if the agreement is to be signed following the presidential polls, it will be done so after discussions in Parliament. Sajith Premadasa in the letter states he will not enter into any agreement which is harmful to the country. In his letter to Venerable Ududumbara Kashyapatera, Sajith Premadasa further stated that any decision on the agreement will be reached after holding discussions with the Mahasangha. After receiving the letter from the NDF presidential candidate Sajith Premadasa, Venerable Ududumbara Kashyapatera decided to call off the protest fast. Now meanwhile, Gotabaya Rajapaksa has also sent a letter to Venerable Ududumbara Kashyapatera stating that all agreements signed by the current government will be reconsidered. Now there was no special mention about the MCC in the letter sent by Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Journalists questioned the SLPP regarding this matter today. Bandula Gunawardena had announced that under their government, the MCC compact will be stopped. A journalist questioned the co-spokesperson of Gotabaya Rajapaksa, Dallas Alhaperuma, as to whether they are of the same stance. Alhaperuma did not provide a direct answer to this query and replied that Bandula Gunawardena has already responded to this. Now taking a look at some headline-making local news, a body was found at a residence along the Dharmapal Avenue opposite the Viharmadevi Park in Colombo today.
Police said the body was found at the house last night during an inspection. The deceased was a 49-year-old resident of Aturugiriya, HOMAGAMA. Operations are underway to apprehend the identified suspect.
Now taking a look at more news from the political arena, presidential candidate of the New Democratic Front, Sajith Premadasa, attended a public rally in Valapane yesterday.
Presidential candidate Premadasa was warmly welcomed at the public rally. Minister Naveen Dissanayake and several others joined the rally as well.
අපි දන්නවා පොදු ජනතාවගේ ප්‍රමියම්ගම් ඉඩම් අතුල් කරමින් වෙනම කලාපයෙන් කරලා තිබෙනවා.
We know that there are different areas named after people. We will definitely resolve the land issues in the wildlife zones. We will provide all facilities to those in the gold industry and make their lives better. We will also provide free fertilizer to those in the agricultural industry. The cost of production will reduce. There is no set price for pepper in this area. This is mainly because of the re-export of pepper. When you elect me on the 16th, I will cancel the re-exportation of pepper on the 17th. According to our new plan, the wage of estate workers will be increased to 1,500 rupees. I will announce the dates. The projects will be declared open when I lay foundation stones. The NDF presidential candidate also attended a rally in Harispatwa yesterday. Ministers Lakshman Kiriyalda and Sujiva Senasinghe attended the event.
අපේ රටේ හැම භෝගයකටම වෙනමම රජයේ දෙපාර්තමේන්තුවක් තිබෙනවා.
We have government institutions for all crops, but there is no institution for minor exports. After the victory on the 16th, I will establish a separate institution for minor exports and make sure there is a set price for pepper and other crops. I will uplift the lives of those engaged in this industry.
සියලුම දෙනාගේ ජන ජීවිතය ශක්තිමත් කරනවායි කියලා මම මේ අවස්ථාවේ තමුන්නාන්සලාට සතුටින් ප්‍රකාශ කරනවා.
Now, as we mentioned before, a body was found at a residence along the Dharmapal Avenue opposite the Viharamahadevi Park in Colombo today. Now, police said the body was found at the house last night during an inspection. The deceased was a 49-year-old resident of Athurugiriya Road in HOMAGAMA. Operations are underway to apprehend the identified suspect. We are now joined by Newsfirst Tarusha Kumar Singha on location with the latest update.
Thank you very much. Right now I'm standing opposite the house where the murder was committed. This is the Dharmapala Mavata in Colombo, right in front of the Viharamahadevi Park. Now, according to the police, they discovered this body upon some information that they received last night, and it is reported that the deceased was a 49-year-old resident in Athurugiriya, and it is reported that a suspect has been arrested over this incident as well. The significance of this murder is the location where it took place, such a busy, such a congested part here in Colombo, right in front of the Viharamahadevi Park, in this household on the first floor where the murder was committed. Now, why was this murder committed? In what fashion was this murder committed? And most importantly, who committed this murder is the question. News First will keep a close watch. Until then, it's back to Studio R.
Now, taking a look at your foreign news, presidential candidate of the National People's Power Movement. I beg your pardon, right now we are ready to take a look at some international news. Schools in India's national capital region reopened after the air quality improved for severe plus category to poor. Children in Delhi were seen heading to school wearing masks along with their uniforms as they headed to their schools after about a week since Delhi government shut schools temporarily because of hazardous air pollution yesterday. According to US Embassy pollution data, the latest amount of PM was recorded at 175 under unhealthy poor levels against when on Sunday the scales touched 500 under severe category. Most schools are still keeping outdoor activities suspended in the premise. In more international news, a global group of around 11,000 scientists have endorsed research that says the world is facing a climate emergency. The study, based on 40 years of data on a range of measures, says governments are failing to address the crisis. The study says without deep and lasting changes, the world is facing untold human suffering. The researchers say they have a moral obligation to warn of the scale of the threat. Released on the day that satellite data shows that last month was the warmest October on record. The new study says that simply measuring global surface temperatures is an inadequate way of capturing the real dangers of an overheating world. These indicators include the growth of human and animal populations per capita meat production, global tree cover loss, as well as fossil fuel consumption. Thousands of Iraqi anti-government protesters have occupied an abandoned high-rise building in the center of Baghdad. Known as the Turkish restaurant, the 1980s construction had been largely empty since it was bombed during the 2003 US-led invasion of Iraq. The protesters say it has been used by snipers. Since the 1st of October, more than 250 people have been killed in clashes with security forces as protesters demand more jobs, an end to corruption and better services. An Iraqi government committee report found that security forces has used excessive force and live gunfire against protesters in October. It found evidence that a sniper operated out of an abandoned building in central Baghdad. The Iraqi authorities have blamed anonymous snipers for killing protesters. Now, still in international news, Thai police say attackers fired into security checkpoints in southern Thailand and killed at least 15 volunteer officers. Police Colonel Tawisak Thangsangi, a superintendent in a police station in Yala province, said an unknown number of assailants used heavy weapons in the attack late last night that also injured 5 volunteer officers. Local media reported that 11 of the victims were killed on the spot, while 4 others died at the hospital in Yala. A separatist armed campaign has left about 7,000 people dead since 2004 in Thailand's 3 southernmost provinces of Yala, Pattani and Narathiwat. Now diverting your attention once again to some local news, the Securities and Exchange Commission of Sri Lanka has filed action in the Colombo Fort Magistrates Court yesterday against Lavs Gas PLC, a company listed on the Colombo Stock Exchange.
The case has been filed against WKH Wagapitiya, UK Tilak N. De Silva and Takshila I. Hulangamua over market manipulation, conspiring to commit market manipulation, as well as aiding and abetting to commit the offence with respect to shares. According to the Security and Exchange Commission of Sri Lanka, if found guilty, the defendants would be liable to an imprisonment of either description for a period not exceeding 5 years or to a fine between 50,000 and 10 million. Through a press release, the SEC says the defendants respectively are the chairman and the managing director of Lavs Gas, as well as an investment advisor attached to a stockbroker firm. Orders had been placed for trading in the Lavs Gas PLC shares on October 7th and 10th in 2011 using the accounts of certain clients of the stockbroker firm of the aforementioned investment advisor by the use of several manipulative devices. Justice Ranga Disanayaka, having taken cognizance of the submissions of Sudarshana De Silva, Deputy Solicitor General of the Attorney General's Department, who appeared on behalf of the SEC, issued summons on the defendants to appear before the magistrate on the 13th of December.
Now taking a look once again at some of your political news, a public rally of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna was held in Yatinuwara yesterday. Now this public rally was held at the Kadugannawa Stadium under the auspices of presidential candidate of the SLPP Gotabe Rajapaksa. Mahinda Rajapaksa also attended the rally amid cheers from those who were present at the rally. Meanwhile, now the presidential candidate of the National People's Power Movement, Anurakumara Disanayaka, attended a public rally held in Kandy yesterday. That's all the news we have for you on Lunchtime News. Take care and have a great day.